Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, everyone. Sorry. My name is Tim Lee, and I'm a mining analyst here at Red Cloud Securities. We welcome Paul Sobie, CEO, and Alec Rowlands, consultant with Churchill Resources. They will speak to us about Churchill's exciting nickel exploration projects in Newfoundland and Labrador. Paul and Alec, you have 10 minutes, and then we'll have a 5-minute Q&A at the end of the session. Attendees, please feel free to ask questions using the Q&A link below. Take it away.
Great. Thanks a lot, Tim, and welcome everybody. As Tim was mentioning, we're a nickel explorer. We are specific about that, very bullish on sulfide nickel, and formed this company about a year ago, actually, in order to do just that. We're a partner with Altius Minerals, who I'm sure many of you know, in Newfoundland and Labrador, a big project generator as well as a royalty company. And when we were looking around for nickel projects, we already had a relationship with Altius, and we approached them, and it happened very quickly. We initially optioned their Taylorbrooke property and used that as our qualifying transaction to go public. That started in December, and we went public in June. And we optioned their Florence Lake property upon starting trading in June. So the intent of both deals was to get Altius to a 9.9 share ownership, and that's where they sit presently. We just finished raising some money with Red Cloud, actually, in late August. It was $2 million worth of flow through. We still have most of that, as well as some hard dollars. We're probably sitting at around $2.2, $2.3 million as of today. Very clean capital structure management. And the original founders, we're at about 20%. Institutions are about 35%. We believe that we still have about 13 million shares escrowed out of the 43 million that we're trading with. So the two projects, both are high-grade project models. Taylorbrooke is on the island of Newfoundland, and it's a Voisey Bay type target. Florence Lake is in Labrador, and it's very very to Raglan. We have a $750,000 program already commenced at Taylorbrooke, and we're getting started at Florence Lake this month also with a VTEM survey, an EM survey that it very much needs modern methods on. The leadership team is myself. I have a consulting background, been around for a long time. We have a couple of other senior geos on the board. And just recently, we hired Dawn Evans-Lamswood, and she is a Voisey Bay expert. She was there from the beginning with Diamond Fields and stayed on with Inco and then Ballet, and she's one of the ones who really figured out those deposits and that mine. So we're very lucky to have her, and she's already paying for herself on our projects. So Taylorbrooke was our first project. This is very well located infrastructure-wise. The Deer Lake Airport is just to the south of us. Trans-Canada Highway goes by, we have power, everything nearby. And that's why we chose it as our qualifying transaction. It was a cheaper property to get started on, but still very high potential with the past results that have shown high-grade nickel with copper and cobalt. Florence Lake is in Labrador. It's about 180 kilometers north of Goose Bay, close to Tidewater and close to two towns, though, that make exploration costs very manageable there. Again, a very high grade project. The really flashy intersection here by Falcon Bridge was 11 meters of 2.19% nickel, along with copper, cobalt, and PGE. So high grade target model, again, is what we were looking for. I mentioned a little bit about our capital market profile. So 43.7 million shares outstanding. I think we're trading at 34 cents today, so the market cap's a little bit higher. Very few options and almost no warrants. The team is myself. So I've owned a company called MPH Consulting that's been around for a long time. Winding that up though now to run Churchill. Kevin Tomlinson, another geo, and he's also had a long investment banking career. Most recently, you probably saw his name associated with Cardinal Resources. That was taken over in a $600 million transaction with Shandong out of China. And he's currently running a good little copper explorer in Peru called C3 Metals. That's having some really nice sounding success. Bill Fisher is our other partner, our other board member. Again, a well-known geo. He's been around for a long time. I've known him for a long time. ex-De Beers, ex-Anglo-American. He ran the base metal exploration for Boliden in Scandinavia for 4 years. He built a copper mine in the Dominican Republic with Globestar. He was chairman of Aurelian Resources when they were taken over. And he's currently running Treasury Metals, which is building a gold mine out in Dryden in northwestern Ontario. I mentioned Dawn, she's our lead consultant. We also have Jeremy Brett, who's a geophysicist who worked extensively for Noront on Eagle's Nest. And Dr. Derek Wilton is our QP, our independent person, who he just recently left Memorial University in St. John's. And he is the acknowledged expert on mineral deposits in Newfoundland and Labrador. Taylorbrooke, our first project in Newfoundland, this is what it looks like at the Discovery outcrop. So it's about 2 meters wide or 2 meters thick. It's dipping vertically. And this is Don Evans there in 2003 for Inco, examining the sulfides and the showing. It consists of almost a breccia type texture. You can see that there's darker areas and lighter areas. So it's not 100% massive sulfide, but you can see there's areas that are very, very thick in sulfides. And Dawn is there now leading our drilling team actually on Churchill's project. I mentioned the infrastructure. It's very, very good. We've got a power line going by, a camp that was there for the hydro workers that we're renting, and major logging roads onto the property. So we can drive to the drilling site in about 30 minutes from our camp. Drillers are from Springdale, Assay Lab is in Springdale, so everything moves along really quickly. And I'm flying into Deer Lake on Thursday morning and will be at site in an hour from the airport. The geology here, the mineralization, and the Leyden showing is right where my cursor is hosted in ultramafic rocks. These are adjacent to a large gabbroic intrusive complex. It's never been established that they're related, and we're going to try and figure that out. The northern property is the one we optioned from Altius. We staked more ground on the basis of a gravity survey down here, which suggests something heavy, something dense is in the southern area. So we're flying our VTEM survey over this and have already completed that work in the north. The mineralization looks like this in core. You can see the black host rock, that's the ultramafic. This is sort of lower grade disseminated material. This is semi-massive. You can still see it's a breccia though, that there's other pieces caught up in it. And this is our drill taken about a week and a half ago, drilling the very first hole for 2021. And that's Don Evans again in our core shack at the camp. So we're basically chasing these high grade intersections, which are about 100 meters apart. You can get very good results from surface, but you know, we're now looking down at depth. When we flew our VTEM survey, we got a lovely trend of conductors in the area of the known mineralization. And, you know, we've planned to do some drilling there, as you can see with the red drill holes. But we also have these other trends that we don't know too much about. There's been little or no exploration on them, and we will investigate those as well during the course of this project. But what we're really excited about in the area of the Leyden showing, so that outcrop I showed you is here. There's a high grade hole they drilled in the past right there in a vertical hole. And then the other two holes, the section I showed you is here, a little more than 100 meters away. So we got started right here where the conductor plate was modeled as being 140 meters at depth and dipping to the southwest, so dipping this way. And our first hole hit it dead on exactly where it should. A lot of the similar styles of mineralization that I showed you in those two pictures. And we drilled another hole to see the extent of it and seemed to have just nicked it. And the third hole is going out this way. Sorry, it's this one here. And that's to sort of try to tie the surface projection of the Leyden showing into this material at depth. And I'll be seeing this hole on Thursday and see what it's accomplished. As well, we have these really enticing looking conductors to the south. This one's 200 meters away and very large, and you can see we're planning 3 holes there. And then at least one hole that's going to go back towards holes 9 and 10, that section I showed you with the good intersections. So that's our present plan. These 7 holes will take a little break, and we'll bring in borehole conductor geophysical team So each of these holes will be pulsed. So we'll start to see deeper and with more precision in this area of the known mineralization. That's our beginning plan, and from there we'll start to branch out as we learn more. The intent, of course, is to understand the size and the shape of this intrusive and where the nickel sulfides are in relation to its architecture. Florence Lake is in Labrador, so it's helicopter accessible, but I mentioned the logistics are good. This is one of the outcrops there, very, very mineralized, as you can see. The town of Postville, this is where Geotech, the geophysical team, is going to base their helicopter. They will fly a VTEM survey over our ground here. It's about 70 kilometers away. It has an airport. It has daily ferry service from Goose Bay. The team is actually bringing their fuel up by ferry to Postville. So tidewater as well comes in very close to the property. So it's all very doable. In the past, Falconbridge brought their drill and fuel in by barge to about this point here, such that helicopter wasn't needed so much. The mineralization here is hosted by volcanic rocks. So not the intrusives we're seeing at Taylorbrooke, but true volcanic lavas. And the most magnetic and iron-rich ones are called komatiites and peridotite. And that's what we have here, and that's what Falconbridge was chasing. They discovery showing is called the Bakey showing. It's not very impressive on surface, as you can see, and this is because the ultramafic rocks are very, very soft, and they've weathered away. There's always swamps. Wherever they show up magnetically, you'll find a swamp or a lake or a river or anything but rock. But what we were able to do in the field in July was recover the old core, and this was critical because this is truly a drilling and geophysical project. It's not going to be prospecting and trenching. But we were able to recover all of the old core from the 96 program and sample it again. So that's Dr. Derek Wilton, our independent consultant, independent QP. He's taking samples of the other half of the core on the exact same intervals that Falconbridge sampled, and we were very successful. This mineralization and the thickness of the volcanics is very impressive. We had a press release a couple of weeks ago where we announced the results. And we were able to resample these holes that I have circled in red, and we duplicated or exceeded the previous values. So it all bodes very, very well for the grade of mineralization that we should encounter. And really our game or our target is going to be to find more of what they found in the past at shallow depths. We'll be looking deeper with that VTEM survey, trying to find conductors, as we did at Taylorbrooke, and figure out what they are and how they relate to the known mineralization. So that's the project there. We also have 2 diamond projects in the company. These are both within our wholly owned subsidiary called Churchill Diamonds. Very, very prospective properties. One in Nunavut called Pelly Bay with known diamond bearing high-grade kimberlites, and one near the Hemlo Gold Mine in Ontario with known diamond bearing dikes that Rio Tinto has taken a small sample of. So the diamond sector is recovering, and we're very, very confident that we will be able to do something to the benefit of all shareholders with those projects. But we're exclusively nickel focused, and we are just getting started, and I think there'll be a lot of news to come in the near term with Taylorbrooke results. So Tim, that's it for myself.
All right, great. Well, thank you very much, Paul, for the informative presentation. We'll now move on to the Q&A. We do have a question or two. I guess one is, when would we expect drilling results from Taylorbrooke? Obviously, assay results are kind of slow these days.
This is a problem that's industry-wide, and that the turnaround at all labs is very, very slow. So I would say 8 to 10 weeks to be safe, even though the samples are going to be submitted on Friday or Saturday after I've seen them. It's 8-week turnaround minimum sort of thing that most labs are telling you now. So hopefully, mid-December, I would say.
Great. And then I guess one question very quickly I would ask is just, looking forward next steps for the company here. You have gone into it a little bit, but just to summarize.
Well, the VTEM survey at Florence Lake is going to be quite enlightening. It'll allow us to compile all that old drilling and understand what they hit in the context of new geophysics. So that will be, hopefully happening over the by Christmas or New Year's. We are working with Altius now to plan a drill program for Florence Lake. They have a project nearby. We're talking about sharing camp, sharing drills, sharing all the costs. So I'll be moving all that forward and hope to have an announcement on that sometime over the winter. But really, it's going to be Taylorbrooke that's going to be generating the news flow for our company. You know, the initial results in that area of the known mineralization, the first 7 holes, I expect 2 or 3 of them are going to hit mineralization, and we'll have those results, you know, as we figure out the shape and the architecture of the intrusive and where the nickel sulfide should be. And it should all become a little bit more clear with sort of each passing month and each hole we drill that, you know, we're starting to outline the shape of this magmatic body.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Paul. And thank you all for joining us today.
Yep.